for those fires. Explosions make fires too. Explosions make accidental fires too. And then, oops, we don't know how that happened. And then you look into it.
I mean, can you even believe this? While everyone else seems to have moved on from the LA fires like yesterday's news, there are real people, real families, whose lives have been completely turned upside down. They're desperately searching for answers, trying to make sense of who or what sparked these devastating flames. And let me tell you, honey, the theories floating around are wild. Some of them are absolutely bonkers, but others, they'll make your jaw drop. Like, imagine this. Some people are suggesting that certain Hollywood A-listers might have orchestrated these fires to destroy evidence linking them to the Diddy case. And hold on to your seats because it gets even juicier. There's talk that Diddy himself might have orchestrated this whole thing from behind bars. I'm not even kidding. There's leaked footage of him dropping these super cryptic messages during a phone call that's been spreading like wildfire online. Katt Williams is totally convinced something's fishy here, and he's made it his personal mission to expose Diddy's alleged role in these devastating fires.
This morning, the firestorm officials had feared becoming a reality, with a third out-of-control wildfire exploding overnight in the Los Angeles area.
At the end of the day, I mean, who's ready for something like this?
Overnight, flames reaching the iconic Malibu neighborhood and its beachfront homes. In the coastal neighborhood Pacific Palisades, multiple homes completely engulfed in flames, with desperate residents rushing to get out. Planes flying above the area, capturing the massive reach of the inferno.
Now, this is where things get seriously suspicious. People are connecting the dots, and honey, the picture it's painting is shocking. Think about it. Diddy's caught on tape speaking in code about getting rid of evidence, and then bam! Just days later, we witnessed these unprecedented fires erupting all over LA. Coincidence? I think not. But wait, there's more tea to spill. The way these fires spread was anything but normal. In some areas, and this is the part that's giving everyone chills, the fires seem to specifically target certain celebrities' homes while completely sparing their neighbors. Like, how does that even happen? Enter Catherine Austin Fitts. And trust me, she's not just any regular commentator. This woman used to be the U.S. Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development during George H.W. Bush's presidency. She recently did this absolutely fascinating deep dive into the fires on her podcast, and what she revealed will leave you shook. She pointed out how bizarre it was that so many celebrities connected to Diddy managed to keep their mansions intact while their neighbors' houses were reduced to ashes. According to her, and remember, she knows her stuff, these fires might have been a clever cover-up for some truly horrific crimes committed by high-profile celebrities and politicians.
What I want to see, what I usually look at in situations like this, is I look at the patterns of who got wiped out and how. And one of the first questions, I'll be honest, that I'm going to look at when I look at some of the communities involved is how many of the homeowners were on the P. Diddy list.
Yeah, I think that's on everyone's mind, to be honest. Let's be honest.
Now let's talk about this infamous Diddy list that's been setting social media on fire since the raids on his homes in May 2024. While it hasn't been officially confirmed, the names allegedly on this list will make your head spin. We're talking about the absolute cream of Hollywood. Jay-Z, Beyonce, Jennifer Lopez, Kevin Hart, Usher, Oprah, Ashton Kutcher, Ellen DeGeneres, and honey, that's just scratching the surface. The list supposedly goes on, including everyone from A-listers down to D-list celebrities. But Fitz didn't stop there. She drew this chilling parallel to the notorious Franklin cover-up from 1988, where multiple prominent Nebraska politicians and business figures were accused of being involved in this absolutely horrific PDF file ring. Her point? If they could sweep that under the rug back then, imagine what they could do now.
He's been a subscriber for many years, Polly, and for the first time in his life, he read the Franklin cover-up last week. And I spoke to him last weekend, and he said, I keep hearing you, he said, you get frustrated because people don't understand the importance of financial transaction freedom to their lives. And I hear you keep telling people who say, well, I don't have many assets, and if they take my assets, I don't care. And I hear you telling people, wait a minute, they can take your children. They can mandate health treatments to your children, and they can literally take your treatment. And he said, you need to understand that even though I've been a subscriber for 10 years, I didn't understand what you were saying. And he said, I don't think most people understand what you're saying. But I read the Franklin cover-up, which is one of the best, highly documented cases of a pedophilia ring in America. And he said, Now I understand what you mean. Now I understand what you mean when you say they'll take your children, and what that really means, and why financial transaction freedom is so very important to me and to you, because we cannot allow that to happen. So he said, this is the first time that it really got to be personal. It really touched me in an intimate and visceral way. And, I've seen dreadful things done in the interest of covering up the pedophilia rings. And this is likely to include, whenever you do an operation this big, you stack functions. So there's a lot of stacking functions going on, but it wouldn't surprise me if pedophilia is one of those functions that's getting stacked here.
Just when you thought this story couldn't get any more explosive, hold on to your seats because it does. Right as Catherine Fitz's comments were gaining serious traction, some old bombshells from Diddy accuser Ali Carter started resurfacing. Remember her? She went viral last year with some absolutely shocking allegations against Diddy that set social media ablaze.
Me in containers with his shipment of kids. There were kids in there that didn't speak English. There were kids that were sick and that were already dying. There were babies. There were babies that were 6 years old, and I'll never forget them just crying, and everybody was just staring at them. Everybody was just staring at each other. Nobody knew whether or not to move. I was freaked out. And I got up and I held her. And they opened the truck and they took her from me. Because they said she was already sick. And they killed her. Her name was Bailey.
But I was a kid. And all of this situation, everything that we're talking about, everything that I've been talking about, I was under the age of 18. Let's start there. Okay? I was sold a lot in foster care. A lot of stuff happened in my life with the family I was with. Okay? CPS reports go back to 3 months old. I remember 4 years old, and everything took off from there. All right? So never in my life did a lot of the stuff seem wrong until I met this twin of mine. Nothing seemed wrong. I'm telling you the God honest truth to me. And even when I met her, I was just like, it's fine.
But get this, Ali also made some disturbing statements that seem to predict everything that's happening now. She warned followers on social media to keep their eyes and minds open and ask questions when the cover-ups start.
There's ways that this is about to go. I think a lot of you guys are everybody's like, we're ready. We're ready until it's happening. And then everybody's like, well, I wasn't ready. Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of that. There's no other way to get ready. There's no other way to prepare. There's no protocol for what's about to happen. The world is going to crumble when they see this next arrest. In the meantime, there's going to be deaths, distractions, and fires to hide evidence. Watch for it, ask questions, demand answers. You know who's on those flight logs. You do. You know who should be arrested. You all do. You know that laptop from hell is real. You know that the black book is real. You know Ghislaine Maxwell's customers are who everybody is watching in the everyday news, including those.
In what now seems like an eerily prophetic warning, Ali laid out exactly what we're seeing today. She predicted we'd start witnessing mysterious fires, explosions, and accidents popping up out of nowhere. But here's the kicker. She warned these wouldn't be random events at all, but rather carefully orchestrated distractions used by politicians and Hollywood elites to hide their dirty secrets.
Watch for those fires. Explosions make fires too. Explosions make accidental fires too. And then, oops, we don't know how that happened. And then you look into it and you see that it's tied to something that's tied to something that's tied to something that's tied to trafficking. And then you realize, oh, it wasn't just an explosion.
The way Ali spelled it out is giving everyone goosebumps now. She literally warned us to watch for these fires and explosions, pointing out how they try to play it off as accidents. But when you start digging deeper, she said, you'd find these incidents connected to trafficking through this twisted web of relationships. And now, Allie's back on social media basically saying, "I told you so." She's adamant that it's no coincidence these fires erupted just as investigations into Diddy's alleged accomplices are heating up.
It's burning, is it? Because didn't I tell y'all that? Didn't I tell y'all there will be an accidental explosion? Accidental fire? And the next thing you know, celebrities' homes would be on fire. Things would be on fire. I pray for the people in its path, but I also pray that it exposes the things that it needs to expose.
Speaking of accomplices, this drama has pulled in some of the biggest names in entertainment. Jay-Z and Jennifer Lopez are both caught up in lawsuits connected to Diddy, and the tea is scalding. The feds are actually reopening that infamous 1999 NYC club shooting where Jay-Z allegedly passed Diddy a firearm during a fight that left multiple people injured. Word on the street is that J-Lo might not have been entirely truthful about what went down that night. And honey, if she lied about that, what else could she be hiding? But that's not even the worst of it for Jay-Z. He's been named in this absolutely shocking lawsuit involving Diddy and allegations about a 13-year-old girl at an after party for the 2000 VMAs. The whole thing is just beyond disturbing.
As you probably already know, a lawsuit had been filed against Jay-Z, aka Sean Carter, by an unnamed woman alleging that Jay-Z had committed several acts of violence, etc., SA, against her when she wasn't of age. The court had provisionally allowed the plaintiff to continue with the lawsuit without revealing her name, and then today again issued an order with respect to the anonymity issue and some other issues which are a doozy. This order is several pages long, so forgive me for when I read from it. The court noted that in deciding whether the plaintiff may proceed anonymously, it would balance the plaintiff's interest in anonymity against both the public interest in disclosure and any prejudice to the defendant, as is the case law.
Of course, Jay-Z's legal team is fighting these allegations tooth and nail, and it's turned into this massive legal battle between his lawyers and the alleged victims' representatives. But here's what's truly mind-blowing. This scandal reaches so much further than just these two. We're talking athletes, Hollywood elite, politicians, and even religious leaders. The sheer number of people allegedly involved is staggering, which makes you wonder just how far they'd go to keep their secrets buried. And then, as if this whole situation wasn't suspicious enough, videos started circulating showing random explosions around the city. Even celebrities are starting to speak out about how something just doesn't add up. Chris Brown didn't mince words when he posted on his Instagram story, "Someone starting these fires, ish don't add up." He's not alone either. Henry Winkler got seriously heated about it, calling out whoever's responsible. "There is an arsonist here in LA, may you be until you're recognizable the pain you have caused." Peter Murgatroyd from Dancing with the Stars shared this super creepy tweet about 5 men in ski masks supposedly starting fires around Southern California. But perhaps the most chilling account came from Andrew Huberman, the famous neuroscientist and podcaster. He actually witnessed something absolutely terrifying. People deliberately setting fires in areas that weren't even burning. He saw it happen at 302 Pico in Santa Monica and immediately reported it to authorities. The fact that people might be intentionally spreading these fires is just... I can't even. What's really sending chills down everyone's spine is how similar these fires are to the 2018 Malibu fires. Back then, just like now, certain celebrities' homes were completely destroyed while their neighbors' houses remained untouched. And guess what? Those fires also coincidentally started right when another massive Hollywood scandal, the Harvey Weinstein case, was making headlines. Enter Katt Williams again, and honey, he's been dropping truth bombs left and right. He was the first one to expose that shocking detail about the baby oil found in Diddy's houses. Apparently, it wasn't just regular baby oil, but something much more sinister. According to Katt, it was laced with substances that would paralyze victims, leaving them helpless against whatever horrific things Diddy and his associates had planned.
It ain't that much ass shit in the world. Everybody know that. They put the drugs in the baby oil. You thinking you getting a massage, bitch? You can't even get up. That's why God gave me eczema. I can't even use, baby.
Katt's revelation sparked a flood of new accusations, with multiple people coming forward to confirm the baby oil story. There were even whispers that when the feds tested it, they found traces of GHB and tranquilizers. Katt's been super vocal about government cover-ups and how Hollywood is basically one giant propaganda machine.
Information is what is limited, and whole industries can be built upon your ability to know how certain things are going to hit certain people. And this was before we called things promotion and marketing. You know what I mean? That's Hollywood is not really there to entertain you. Like, that's great that that happens, but propaganda is something that is important to all civilizations.
The plot thickens even further, with Katt claiming that numerous high-profile politicians are tangled up in this Diddy scandal. According to him, these people are so desperate to keep their secrets hidden, they'd literally burn LA to the ground if they had to. It's absolutely wild, and honestly, the more you look into it, the more questions you have. Could Katt really be onto something here? Or is this all just an elaborate conspiracy theory cooked up by people with too much time on their hands? The evidence seems to be stacking up, but what do you think? Drop your thoughts below and stay tuned, because something tells me this story is far from over.